There we go.
The war between the living and the dead.
No, it's the war between the Admiralty and the Maritime monetary systems. Okay?
Okay. That's good to know. I wouldn't think that would, I didn't have a...
You don't think that money's a war?
Oh, yeah. We've been in economic warfare since the beginning.
Yeah. The dead currency and the living currency.
Okay. Yeah, that's an important thing to start with.
You got that word definitions document downloaded?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Yeah, I left it up as one fax, Patrick.
Okay.
So it's all together. It's very logical all together. And those are really interesting definitions.
Well, I had to piecemeal the definition for Office of Magistrate Court together from everything that we pulled out in the process here. And this whole thing is the oldest game in the world, which is chess. And I've gone over pawns and pawnees before, but I didn't have it down to where I understood what I was using at that point in time. Now, to backtrack and to see how this all plays out, now it all fits. Never should have been Bailey, Baylor. It should have been Pawnee and Pawnor. Because this is all about pledges. They got you into pledging your inheritance, not inheritance yet, but inheritance. It doesn't become inheritance until you come of age. So it's just a inheritance up until that point in time. They got you to pledge that inheritance up as collateral for the bankrupt United States Corporation. And that's why the Office of Magistrate Court, it used to be the United States Commissioners, and then a commissioner of the court, okay, an officer of an Admiralty Court, okay, then it became the Office of Magistrate Court. And then basically they called it Office of Magistrate Judge, I think is what you said last time, right?
Right. That was changed to Magistrate Judge in 1990, in 1968.
In 1990. So they gave him a judge title, and all judges have to have a court of their own. Well, the court that this magistrate judge has is a prize court. And a prize court is basically, you can read the definition there. It's an anomaly that deviates from the common court system in jurisprudence as a domestic court administering law of the nations, not constitutional law, not codes of law, but laws of the nation. International law. And that's under the wars, the prize capture, and you have to go out and seize your maritime vessels. You are an Admiralty, so you're on one side of the chessboard. The maritime pawns that we have are on the other side of the chessboard. You have to capture those pawns. Then you liquidate those pawns, and if you claim enough of them, you just checkmated and won the game.
Wow.
I think in chess there is one that within 3 moves you can win the game. I don't know what those 3 moves are, but basically, from what I've heard, yeah, and that means there's still a bunch of pawns on the table, but you have checkmated and won the game almost before it even started. And for a man, he should have 3 pawns that he has to seize. The state, the church, and the military. I tried to highlight these definitions to break them out to where they're pretty easy to understand. And then even the facts write-up that I had. I don't know whether they'll process mine. I faxed it into, and I think it went to the clerk of the court.
Care of the clerk of court, yeah.
I know. That's what I put on there, Tom. I know what I put, okay?
Yeah.
I also sent one to the chief judge, but basically they're the same fax number. So I don't know whether the clerk of the court is processing any of my stuff to the judges or not. I'll send a follow-up and basically notify the clerk of the court that if they did not deliver those to the magistrate judge, I will file an admiralty lien against that clerk of the court's office.
Mm-hmm.
That they are harming me.
Just explain
that facts and that, and then I'm updated the manifest to appropriately address the pawnee and pawnor in the process. That magistrate judge is the pawnee. He basically is overseeing our pawns that are in that courthouse. And then you got a bunch of little pawnettes running around as accountants in there. But the dictionary doesn't give a definition of them. Then you got to look at what it says about prize contest. A lottery where tickets are sold. Some to draw prizes and some to draw nothing but blanks. You have to pay for your certificate of live birth. You have to pay for your extra driver's license. You have to pay for your certificate of title to the vehicle. Those are all lottery tickets.
Mm.
You just didn't know how to cash them in for the prize that was due to them. And then when we sent them out to the wrong place, we were drawing nothing but blanks. Because they have to go to the prize court. This court's not going to be listed in the federal court register anywhere. Because the federal court register only deals with constitutional courts. This is a court that is superior to them. This is an admiralty court that is above the Constitution. That's why if you stand in admiralty, you're not standing under the Constitution, you're standing over the Constitution. You're standing over all the codes of law and everything else in Admiralty. In other words, you're walking on water. Because that's the sea that you're on, is this commercial commerce maritime sea, and you're walking above it. I don't think there's too much explanation that I really need to give. When you read over the documents, read over these definitions, and from everything that I've been doing here recently, you should be up to par on this, so it should be just a simple changeover from, like I said, from Bailey and Baylor over to Pawnee and Pawnor. And then also that we're going not to the Secretary of the Treasury, or, but see, this guy is in Admiralty. This judge, or this magistrate judge, is in Admiralty. He's an officer of an Admiralty court. And the Admiralty court is this prize court. But he's also the Maritime Pawnee, supervising the pawns that are on the maritime side of the chessboard. We're sitting over on the Admiralty side of the chessboard. The game isn't over yet, okay? But it soon will be if you don't hurry up and try and get out there and do something about it. I can't do it for you. You have to do it. The document I sent out the other day, the word definitions, basically that had a lot of key items on it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
About, where the hell is it? About Heriot, H-E-R-I-O-T. This is what, basically, it says, a fruit or an appendage of copyhold tenure consisting of a render of the best beast or other things, as the custom may be, to the lord of the manor on the death of the tenant. Your tenant was your bastardly child. He is now post-orbit. So he's dead. So now we have to come in, and these pawns are now a harlot, or harlot, whatever how you pronounce it, that need to be rendered. Okay? You go on down, and basically they will take out their 10% or whatever in the processing of that out from the maritime side of the issue. There is a here is child, or here is child, a species of a military service under feudal tenure. That was the fictional bastard that was created by the Selective Service. Then you go on down, you got heritable. Okay, it says heritable. Inheritable, capable of being inherited, but you haven't inherited anything yet. And then heritable bond, a bond secured by the inheritable property that is by land. That is the military bounty bond. Heritable jurisdiction, a royal grant by criminal jurisdiction to a family. That is Admiralty Court. Heritable rights, rights in real property, rights capable of being inherited. You have to get out there and inherit them and claim them back by taking control of the vessels and basically these pawns by seizing them. That's how you inherit your rights. Heritable security. I mean, this one tells you a lot right here. The pledge of an inheritance as security for the fulfillment of an obligation. That is your baptismal certificate or your certificate of live birth. They were both pledges. And you are the heritor. To be the proprietor of an inheritance. And then basically also I had seizing of, and this is where I got into this harlots or whatever, seizing of harlots. The taking by lord of the manor of his harlots on the death of his tenant in copyhold. Our bastardly children died when they, at the latest, at the age of 25. The church should have been at the age of 12. The state should have been at the age of 21, and the military should have been at the age of 25. You were a journeyman from 21 to 25. You were an apprentice from birth to 21. But you have the right to claim this, and see, 12 years old was the church standard that went all the way back into the Bible. Even Jesus tried to do his claim at 12. Didn't work too well for him, but basically he tried it. It wasn't until basically at the very end that he had to have all three crosses, the church, the state, and the military, to seize them and have them come out of the system. Then we're doing a seizure and capture, and this is an act of war, because chess is a war game. You can see that played out in Harry Potter. I think the second one, or whatever it was, that he had. Maybe it was the first one. Seizure and confiscation. And basically, then you have to bring them to the prize court to have them properly adjudicated. There will be no judgment because this magistrate judge is not a judge. He's just an administrator. Go.
Well, that ties it up pretty good. I mean, it connects it really well, better than before, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other questions out there from you people? How many you got on the call now, Tom?
Well, the same. No, I think one more. One more came on. So we have 5, including you.
Yeah, I get a kick out of this, basically. Everybody, when I'm coming down, basically, I'm a hard ass, basically, hard-headed, and everybody doesn't like me because I use foul language at times, but it's tough shit. Get over it.
I think
life,
it's because...
life is tough, and the truth hurts.
Also, we were saying that on Sunday it would be the last call, but I think that's part of it too. I think people may have not have seen the new document coming up until later.
Hey, Thomas, do you know where those definitions are about the harlot and all those other words that Patrick was talking about?
Valentine's Dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah, right, but the document is the United States Admiralty Treasury bailment.
Okay.
And it's up there in doc and PDF
Yeah,
form.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. I was looking around for it.
And see, everybody wants to go out here and play in the codes and all this. They're not going to get out of the system. The system ain't going to let them out. The system will still control the living shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feed them a little shit and keep them happy for a little while, and then basically pull the plug on them. You're here to win the game. And you never give up until the game is over.
Okay, I found all those words, yeah.
That's the last 2 pages.
Yeah, I see it.
Last page, actually.
Yeah, last page, yeah. Child, heritable bonds, heritable jurisdiction. Yeah, I didn't see this one before.
Yeah, see, they're all missing the IN. So it hasn't come into you yet. So it's just sitting there as heritable, but you haven't brought it in.
Yeah.
To your possession yet.
Yeah, you haven't caught it in your mitt yet.
No, you haven't brought it in. Okay? Taken it in. Okay? Brought it in your house or whatever. And see, that's what we have to do. Even the judge at one of the Federal Court of Claims told one of the guys, you're still out at sea.
Mm.
Yeah, you may think you've captured your seamen or your vessels, but you have to bring them into port. And you bringing them into port into this prize court.
Wow. Yeah, it sure acts like a prize court.
Huh?
They sure act like one, you know, like because they're in the they're running a prize court, and you're just like you say, lost at sea still.
They are siphoning off part of the prize.
Yeah.
Hell, how many lotto deals do you get in the mail? These guys want information from you so that they can go after your prize. They know what the shit they're doing.
Yep.
Publishers Clearinghouse. Talk about a rip-off and a half. Half of these damn charitable situations. Almost anything that comes out of Washington, D.C., I would throw in the garbage can. That whole area is pretty damn corrupt. But The worst whore you've got is your state government, because they're the ones that are really usurping your rights and privileges. Not the federal government. Nowhere in the federal records does it say you have to have a driver's license. It's only in the states. Nowhere in the federal deal does it say you have to have an identification. It's only in the states. And that is your first mate. That is the one that is committing the mutiny against the master and the master's mate, you,
Right.
until you claim the mastership.
And the state is seizing your property and your vehicles, too.
Yeah, well, they're putting them under another pledge. That certificate of title, that driver's license, they're all additional pledges or pawns. And that's what half of these damn other outfits out here, the banks do the same thing. They're getting you to pledge so much assets into them. It's all about pledging and pawns.
And you got onto this pledging aspect of it, what, about 6 months ago?
Huh?
You got onto this pledging aspect of it about 6 months ago.
Oh, well, I've been on the pledging way back.
Okay. Well,
Because I went to the magistrate judge, I forget before, but I went back and looked at the documents I sent to him, but I wasn't even close. Because one of the key things, I wasn't coming in an Admiralty. Told a guy yesterday, he's got a court deal. I said, all you have to do is write up a record and move that, order that court case to be moved into Admiralty. Then you stand as the prince, just like in The Merchant of Venice. And basically, what happened in The Merchant of Venice? The prince got half of the damn payment at the end.
so they take their cut.
Now, you got to watch the movie again, okay? You don't.
I will.
You don't have a comprehensive what you just said, okay? We are the prince, not the government. The government is not anything. They are a servant. They're under the Constitution. We're over the Constitution. And then, basically, now they're even further down than the Constitution. They're under maritime law with all their codes and everything. So the government has now become more than whale shit.
Hey, Patrick, even the charities want you to pledge.
Yes. That's all what it is. It's all about prizes. And they're after your prize because you haven't claimed it.
Wow.
And see, that's what all of these guys, okay. Also, I had one other thing in there. Pawn, okay? To pledge personal property. Well, then you have to have a pawn broker. All the bar attorneys and judges and everything else that are out here are pawn brokers. And a pawn broker needs what? A license. A bar license. That's their pawn broker's license. And they are brokering our pawns down all the time. Cutting away at them. The whaling effect. Like I said before, a whale doesn't die when they harpoon it. They bring it in, and basically, in a lot of cases, the ship has more force than the whale does. That's why in whaling, they used to have two vessels come alongside, one on each side of the whale, and then they would split up the profits from the whale by cutting it away, taking strips of it off at a time, and then boiling it down. The whole process of killing that whale, in a lot of cases, took well over a week. Talk about an animal suffering. There's one that basically did suffer one hell of a lot in the torture before he died. A shark's heart will beat for over 24 hours after it's cut out of the shark.
I didn't know that.
Now, if you watch some movies, you'll find that out. I probably watched too damn many of them. But it's pretty much all right here, okay?
Yeah.
And then even payable on demand, okay? Demand paper. Commercial paper payable upon demand. That certificate of live birth, that baptismal certificate, that certificate DD 214, under seal, under state seal, is a commercial paper payable upon demand. The debtor must be prepared to EO ISTA, and basically that means
Right
at
now.
that moment, instantly, immediately, make the payment. When the creditor says, and we are the creditor also of that paper. We're the pawnor and we're the creditor. Any other questions?
No, I think what you said before, it's quite clear. You laid it out very well. Thank you.
So our assets are actually a heritable security.
Yes, they're heritable, but we haven't inherited them yet.
Right.
We couldn't inherit them until we came of age. That's why they just sat there as heritable items.
Or, like you say, the certificate of live birth is a commercial paper. It's a security, too, payable upon demand as soon as we get it endorsed.
As soon as you seize your vessel and bring it into the port, the Admiralty port, which is this prize court. Yeah. That's the whole port that you need to bring it into. The Admiralty Harbor. And then that magistrate judge, as an administrative judge only, has to process it. As he is the pawnee, and he gets all these little pawnettes to go out there and break it down. Like I said, there is more stuff going on in those courthouses than people really realize. And a lot of it's about this pawnbrokering of the accounts. But we have to take it away from them and bring it into the prize court, have it properly processed and given back to us immediately. Okay, questions? Anybody else out there? Yes, not. Go ahead and call them.
I have a question. I was waiting for other people to ask before I wanted to say one. Before, I was thinking that even though I don't have a certificate of live birth, that I'm going to need one now, because before I could just use whatever documents I have, but now I'm going to need one, since that is a negotiable instrument.
Yes, you're going to have to endorse one over to them. Okay, if you've got an old one that hasn't ever been processed, even though you might have written something on it, you could still try that, but I would go ahead and try and get another copy of it to have on hand.
Right. Or one or two of them.
Baptismal certificate, if you got baptized, get a copy of that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a negotiable instrument with the Church of Rome.
Okay.
We can turn around, and this prize court, this magistrate judge, can turn around and have the U.S. Marshals go and seize that property from the St. Patrick's Trust building in New York City. Your prize out of that area.
Okay.
So we still be using the marshal to do the actual seizing. They get the authority.
We won't. The judge will.
Right. The magistrate judge gives them the authority.
Yes.
Okay.
See, this magistrate judge is basically Patera, or whatever her name was, that was doing the prosecution in the Merchant of Venice. We are the Admiralty, or the prince that is sitting up on the stage, behind the stage. We're the puppeteer. We pull the strings in Admiralty.
Okay.
And then, see, the merchant basically was the pawn, or basically, he was the pawn that was being ordered to be cut up. And what were they going to do? They were going to cut a pound of flesh away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jew was trying to be the pawnbroker to cut away a pound of flesh. Just like all the county prosecutors and everything at the state level. They're trying to cut away a pound of your flesh off of your pawn. That since they're such a whore, they don't go after the pawn, they go after you. And that's why you have to take them out of that court level and move it to Admiralty, because you are only supposed, as the living, are only supposed to be operating in that Admiralty. You don't operate in any other court action unless you've harmed somebody, and that then is a different scenario.
Right. Yeah, this is looking good now. Is that what happened? That's that story where he took a pound of flesh, but the judge said you can take a pound of flesh, but you can't take any blood.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't go after the living. You can only go after the fiction. The pawn.
Right.
Yeah, all these county courts and everything else basically are nothing but pawn shops. State pawn shops.
And it could stop them if you know who you are and know that they're pawnbrokers.
Yeah, well, you don't even have to mention that. You just say, I'm moving this to Admiralty.
Right.
I can only deal in Admiralty law.
Yep, this is
And you, as basically my first mate that I had intercourse with, you don't have jurisdiction over me.
And the whole Patriot movement, what they did was try to get you to get out of Admiralty.
Yeah, because they didn't understand it.
Right.
And all these other people that are trying to run around here claiming sovereignty, yeah, they're going to throw you in jail. You use the word sovereignty, but you use the word Admiralty, and they'll run like hell. I think that's one of the things that basically I had when I was doing some of my identifications and everything. I had Admiralty on my damn identifications.
Wow.
That's why they haven't done anything to me.
I'm glad you figured it out, Patrick. I mean, you learned it, you studied it, but I mean, you figured it out that Admiralty is the key. That is the key.
Yeah, we just have to keep the process on them now and put this into them.
Okay, you made that easy to do, too. Thank you.
Yeah, I've never seen these words before, like Harriet Custom and Harriet Service. We're taught in Herreschild, yeah. We didn't learn these words.
No, but it was only because I went in and was looking for something else. I was looking for Seizure. and I came across this word, and I said, hey, I'm going to look this word up.
Right.
See, that's the problem. Most people wouldn't even do that. They just read it over and say, well, that's not applicable, and that's the end of it. Eyes that see but do not see.
Right.
Ears that hear but do not hear. People only hear my foul language at points in time, and they don't hear any of the rest of my message.
Well, us people that are in construction, we're used to it.
All of this language is everyday language in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
okay? It may be only in the bedroom, but basically in a lot of cases, it's still there.
Right.
Of course, some people basically don't get it for once a year or so, so basically that's why they probably haven't heard it that much.
The tougher the times get, the more you hear it.
Yeah, and then everybody's going after the United States government when basically their worst enemy is the state government.
Right.
Everybody's blaming their right to travel and everything on the United States government. No, it's the state. And then you have to turn around and take those traffic tickets and basically move them up to Admiralty. You move everything that basically the court, fraudulent charges and everything that these courts, state courts try and charge you. Your mortgage, everything. That mortgage is a pawn also. And it's a paid pawn. But you have to get it into the prize court to have it properly to get your prize.
You said earlier on about the court, the judges have to operate whatever they're doing, but they also have to have their own private or their own admiralty court too.
No, they don't.
No, what were you saying about the courts? That was early in the conversation.
These courts, state courts, and the other courts, basically, they cannot operate in Admiralty.
Right.
So they either have to dismiss the charges, or you're taking them into Admiralty, and you're the one that is sitting behind the stage as the puppeteer over that Admiralty court.
Right.
And this magistrate judge, and you can turn around and sue them in Admiralty for any harm that the state courts charged. That's why they don't want to go there. Even at the federal level, if they're operating in civil and criminal actions out here, to where they're trying to go after your pawns also, you can turn around and take that and move that federal court into Admiralty also.
I get it.
Okay?
Yeah.
All your court actions are to be in Admiralty because you are in the word Admiralty. Break it down. The first 5 letters of Admiralty are Admir. Okay? And that means prince.
Right.
And you are a prince of the land of America, or of the United States of America.
Right. Resident sovereignty or royal sovereignty.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy, the prince that came to New York. He had his own money. Of course, he had his picture on his own money. You won't have your picture on your own money, but basically it will be de jure money. It will be debt-free money when you come out of the system. Then you'll get an Admiralty identification, and you will get an Admiralty Treasury debit card. Against the American Admiralty Treasury Depository. That's where you'll put your funds for the best safety when it comes down. That's what I said in the item. I will be redepositing these after you give them to me into the American Admiralty Treasury Depository. Then we will get just exchangement, because right now we're not getting just exchangement. You write out $100 in longhand, and it has dollar behind it. That is in silver. But on your check also, you have a dollar sign, and you write a number. You're giving them silver dollars, and they're paying out Federal Reserve debt dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they keep the checks, too.
Yeah, basically they're keeping them from you, but basically they're just, in a lot of cases, just trying to save money by not returning them to you. The whole banking system is a total fraud.
Yep.
Hello, everybody.
You're late.
Sorry. I just found out about you.
Okay, you're going to have to listen to the call. Tom will tell you how to get a hold of the link for this.
Right. Want me to do it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're new, right? Because I don't recognize the name. Yes. So, have you joined the Yahoo group?
I don't know how to, actually.
You have to go to yahoo.com. Sign up for an account at yahoo.com. It's a free account. Then go back to yahoo.com after you're signed up. Pick up groups off the horizontal menu at the top. Then that'll give you a selection box to find the group that you want to talk to, which is We the People _shareholders. We the People, all one word.
Okay, I'm
_
there.
shareholders.
Okay.
And then you're there. Then when you get there, should be a join button.
Join.
And once you join, it'll ask you to put in your email preferences. You should select individual emails.
Or daily or whatever.
Yeah. They have a digest or individual. Individual is easier to respond to. Once you do that, you should get a welcome email. Keep that welcome email, save it, print it out. That tells you how to get onto the Skype group, how to access the files on the Yahoo group, where the backup site is, and some various utilities that you could use for preparing the forms.
Okay. I just joined the group. Okay. Let me see here. PH.
And the welcome email will tell you that it's best to, when you go to the Files section, to go to the Action button on the horizontal menu there and hit the V right after it and select from that menu Sort in Reverse Date Order. That way you'll get the latest folder on top. And you really, right now at this point, want the last 5 documents from the latest folder. And the email, there's a link section on the Yahoo group with the links to the conference calls, or the welcome email will show you where to go to actually download the conference calls if you want them.
Okay. It sent me 3 emails. One says welcome. Okay, 2 of them say welcome. It says Yahoo group, and the other one say corporation withdrawals, dissolution, update doc.
I don't know what those are for, because that's not what I loaded 2 files up there today. Maybe you got that from a different Yahoo group.
No, I probably got it from yours. It just
someone may have. He's joined the group, so someone may have sent a message in saying that. Right. Okay. Welcome email should give you a good overview of what the skills you need to operate within the group. And then the easiest thing would be to get into the Skype group where you can chat all day long by text.
Oh, okay.
But review the latest documents. Go over. I would say that the calls this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today. Probably do them in reverse order. Do today's.
Go into the link section on that group site. Go into the link section, and there's a link there for all the audios.
Right. The first link in there is the conference calls. You click that folder.
Calls. Okay.
Yeah. Click that folder. It'll give you all the conference calls.
Should at least listen to Sunday night and tonight's call then again.
Right. I think those are the 2 best, 2 most pertinent. The rest become background.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. You got a lot of homework to do. Okay.
All
but
right.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. It's rather well laid out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And you're not
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Anybody else got a question?
Excuse me?
Anybody else got a question?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and call tonight, and
right.
then you can get in there and download this audio and listen to it. Okay?
I have a question. I was waiting for somebody else to ask. On the seizing of Harriots, the taking by the lord of the manor of his Harriots upon the death of his tenant in copyhold. I know what the tenant is. That's the fiction. And the copyhold is just the only hold that they have is just a signature or something like that, right?
What do they send you?
Will they send you the certificates?
Yeah, a certificate of live birth. What do you get? You get a copy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the
Driver's
copy hold.
license. You get a copy.
Right.
You get another copy if you lose one.
Right. Okay.
See, it's all in copy hold.
Right.
You're holding a copy.
Right. Okay, I got it. I just was making sure what I understood that correctly. Yeah, it's just the instrument itself. The copy hold, yeah.
And then
the thumbprint and the
like
signature, they can't have me. They can only have copies of me.
Yeah, it's like a lottery ticket. And they sell you a lottery ticket, and then whether you win a prize with that lottery ticket or whether you get nothing from that lottery ticket, it all depends on how you handle it.
Right.
So it's a prize contest. And it's all a game.
Yeah.
Chess is a game, but it is a war game.
Mhm. Yep. You got to remember that.
Yeah. You're on one side in Admiralty, and they're on the other side in Maritime.
Right.
Two different monetary systems.
Would this be the difference between public and private?
No.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But no, it's not, okay? This is all about monetary system, okay? Public and private is basically entirely different. It doesn't have anything to do with monetary system.
Okay.
He'll get it when he listens to those other phone calls.
Right.
No. But you have to take everything you have, all court cases, whether they're criminal or civil, and you move them into Admiralty jurisdiction. If they're coming after you to harm you, the living, because you are a prince of the land of the United States of America, and that's puts you into Admiralty, not into sovereignty, but Admiralty. There is no sovereignty court out there, but there is Admiralty courts. And the main Admiralty court that we have is called a prize court. And that's under this office of Magistrate Judge at the federal courthouse. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Call it night, Tom.
Thank you, Patrick, and we'll get this posted up right away.
Okay, later.
This is a great
Thanks.
one. Great one. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay.